The first area of statistics that everyone talks about is what's called measures of central tendency. They say this because they're jerks. What we mean are averages. If you have a huge pile of numbers, someone gives you all of the prices of all the gasoline in New York, you say, what's the average? I didn't really want to know all, the thorough, complete answer of how much they charge for gasoline in New York. I just want to know, what should I expect to pay? What is the average price of gasoline? Well, there's 3 different kinds of averages. There is the mean. This is the most common one. The mean of a data set is found by adding up all the numbers and dividing by the number of pieces of data. So if there's 20 different numbers, you add them all up and divide by 20. That's called the mean. You want to know, if I want to know what the average grade on an exam is, I'll add up all the exam grades, I'll divide by 20, I'll divide by the number of students that took the exam, ta-da, that's the mean of the exam grade. The median is the middle number. That's what you get when you put all the data in order from smallest to largest and then take the piece of data in the middle. If there's an odd number of pieces of data, there's going to be 1 in the middle. That's your median. If you have an even number of pieces of data, there's going to be 2 in the middle, and then you have to average the 2 of them. You add them up and divide by 2. The mode is the most common value that occurs. If every single number is completely different, there is no mode. If there's a tie, let's say the one number that occurs the most is occurs 3 times, but there's 2 different triples of numbers, then you have several modes. That can happen. In general, the median is, in real life, the most useful of these numbers. If I told you that if I added up all of the incomes of all the people in the United States and divided by the number of people who have jobs, and I got, $100,000, that would tell you that's biased by the fact that there are some people out there who make huge amounts of money. That really doesn't tell you what the average person is making. If one person out there is making $100 trillion, then that is really going to throw off the average. And it's not like that person is sharing, so it's not like that number should really affect you or I. The mode's kind of a weird number. The mode is just the most common. Sometimes that's the most useful. If you want to know how many dogs people have, and you're like, what is the mode? What is the most common number of dogs that a person has? Is it 1, or is it 2, or is it 0? That's sort of a more interesting thing. Or of the people who have cats, what is the mode? Do more people have 1 cat? Do more people have 2 cats? That could be interesting. Maybe more people have 3 cats than any other number of cats. Who knows? But the median really tells you what is in the middle. The median income is half the people in the whole country are making more than that, and half the number of people are making less than that. If you know the median exam grade, you know that half the people in the test, half the people in the class got better than that grade, and half the class did worse than that grade. It really gives you a feel for the middle of the class. However, in mathematics and statistics, we almost always use the mean, because the mean has very nice mathematical properties. It encompasses all of the numbers. The mode, you ignore everything except the most popular. The median, you ignore the top, you ignore the bottom, you're only looking at the middle. The mean, if you change any number in the entire data set, it will change the mean by a little bit. So that mean, to some degree, reflects all of them. Let's look at these in an example. I went through my kitchen and I thought, what sort of an average price that I pay for things? And I wrote down all of these prices. $2.79, $3.49, $5.69. I typed them all up into an Excel file, because Excel is really, really cool for this thing. If I highlight all of these things in Excel and go one cell down, and I come up here to this little sigma is, well, everybody knows that's the first letter of the Greek word, which means to add things all up. So all I have to do is click that thing, and bang, right there, 5638 is the sum of all those. Now, you could have punched it all into a calculator, but we don't need to. we had how many pieces of data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 pieces of data. So then I type in equals, because I'm doing a calculation, move to the left, that thing divided by 12 equals 469,8333. That is the mean, which is kind of interesting because one of the things I learned from the sample is most of the things I buy from the grocery store don't have prices on them. The next thing I noticed, just about everything I buy is about $3. But the mean here is 469. There's only 3 numbers on this list, 599, 1649, and 516. There's only 3 numbers on the list that are bigger than that. What is it? This bottle of olive oil, it's really expensive olive oil, threw off the whole thing. That is the mean right there. Now, what happens if I take these numbers, if I highlight all these numbers again, and I go to the A to Z sort and filter, and I click on that, and if I sort smallest to largest, bang, found data next to selected, it will not be sorted, fine. Current with, whatever, yes. I don't want, see, it wants to know if I want to include that number at the bottom. No. Bang. Now I have those numbers in order. This is the cheapest thing that I could find in the kitchen. That's the largest thing in the kitchen. So this was the total. We'll call that total right there. That's the total. This is the mean. These are the numbers in order. Now, there's 12 pieces of data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 7. These are the 2 middle ones. And what is directly between 339 and 349? Let's see, you add these 2 up together. Well, why don't I copy those over, bang, and add these together. I'm being lazy, bang, add those up, equals to the left divided by 2 is, bang, 344. And that is the median. And that tells me that of the 12 things that I randomly picked in the kitchen, half of them, this half, were less than 344, and half of them, this half, was more than 344. So to some degree, I could say the average price that I was able to find in my kitchen was 344. This also said the average price was 469. These are quite different. And finally, mode, you just go down the list and you see, does any number occur twice? No. So no number occurs twice. There is no mode in this list. This sample of prices, it's not all the prices in the kitchen. I'm sure I could have found a bunch more, but let's do one more example for those who like examples. I randomly picked up a handful of dice that I found in the next room, and I rolled them, and these are the values. What's that you say? I rolled a 9? Yes, I'm a nerd. I'm married to a nerd. We have Dungeons & Dragons dice in the house, and they go up to 20. Some of them do, some of them don't. Hey, first of all, I'm just going to put them in order. A to Z sort, smallest to largest, bang, how many pieces of data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 pieces of data, so the middle one is the 5th. 1, 2, well, what? 11 divided by 2 is a little bit more than 5. So 1, 2, no, it's not the 5th. 3, 4, 5, 6. If you look at this one, there's 5 above it and 5 below. So 6 is the median. The median is 6. I'll write that. Median is 6. That's the one in the middle. Hey, if we go down the list, we'll see that there are 2 4s, and there isn't 2 of anything else. So the mode is 4. The one that occurs the most is the mode. And then if I add all of these up, sum them up with a sigma, I get 65. And then if I say, what is 65 divided by 11, because there's 11 pieces of data, I get 5.9. And again, this is interesting. If I say, what is the average? There's 3 different averages, and they're quite different. There's a 6, there's a 5.9, and there's a 4. And this is the difference between mean, median, and mode. And in this class, I want you to understand all 3 of these. And to understand that when someone says, well, the average whatever does such and such, the average dog lives to be the age of 14, you're like, well, wait a second. You mean half of the dogs die before 14 and half of the dogs die after 14? Are you telling me that if you added up all the ages of all the dogs and divided by the number of dogs, you'd get 14? What exactly are you saying here? to know, and it's a very intelligent thing to say. When someone quotes an average to you, say, is it a mean, median, or mode? Ah, this was mean. So, that's probably enough on this topic.